glare. Sorry about the glare. Not much I can do about it. Let me turn my brightness down a little bit. I guess that does help when I do that. It has been an interesting vacation. Oh my goodness. Wow. I love my grandkids. I love my kids too. And we're glad we made it safe and sound. But I called to confirm our rental car 48 hours in advance just to be safe and make sure everything was good since I booked it as a package deal. Our flight was going to land at 12:35 in the morning, so I didn't know if the rental car companies were open 24/7, if they closed at a certain time, all that stuff. They were quick to let us know that the office closed at 8. I'm like, oh, okay. And also that they weren't going to hold our car for us since we were coming in at 12:35 in the morning. I asked for a supervisor and they said they would hold it for 12 hours. So that meant that it would be good until 10 p.m. because my reservation was for 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, even though my flight got in at 12:35 on Wednesday morning. Anyway, so when you're booking through Priceline or whatever you're booking through, make sure that you look and see what time the vehicle is booked for. Step 1, learn that trick today. Okay, so I asked for a supervisor. They said they would hold it for 12 hours, and if we didn't make it, it was up to the people at the desk if they let us do it. So I asked for a different supervisor. They said, well, since you've paid for it, you have 24 hours. So I had till 10 a.m. that next morning. So that meant that my flight came in at 12:35, and I could either stay at the airport till 8 a.m. when they opened, or I could get a ride to my hotel, which we looked at an Uber, and it was $110. Or I could call my kid and say, hey, Mom's here, come pick us up. So I called my kid and had him come pick us up. That in turn led me to call the hotel and confirm my reservations. Because I'm like, oh great, we're gonna be in late. I wasn't feeling it at that point in time. I was like, what's going to happen next? So after that, I'm not paying $100 to the Uber. I'll pay my kid's gas, which I paid way more than just his gas. He was happy to come and get us. We went to our hotel. Now, granted, we booked this hotel in January when my son was living on campus at the college. And since then, he's finished college and he's done, and he's living in his brother's house. And so it doesn't really make sense to stay at this other hotel that's 30 to 45 minutes away from my kids and grandkids when the house is almost empty and it's, whatever, it's free. So we got to the hotel, we checked it out. I walked in the first door. It smelled horrible. Old cigarettes, kind of like weed, dingy, dirty, moldy, musty, and I started coughing almost instantly. And my lungs are pretty sensitive to stuff like that. It just smelled funky, like old and funky. We got through, we did the check-in. He told us all the stuff. We left that little isolated glass box that they checked us in, and we didn't get to go into a lobby. We had to go back outside and in through a side door to go up the stairs into our room. It just was gross. We got up to the room, and the bed was made nicely, and it was pretty and everything. And we turned back the sheets, and the blanket was an old ratty blanket, and I'm 99% sure I saw something go crawling across the bed. So I'm thinking, gross, it's probably bed bugs. There were dead roaches in the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. The countertop went across the back of the toilet, but it came across so low they had to take the lid off the back of the toilet, so it was just an open water. It was gross. Way low rent, and I'm like, okay, I'm almost over this. And the size of the room was 2 feet bigger than the bed. The bathroom was one person could fit in there, and there was a teeny tiny shower. I mean, it really was not at all what I was expecting. The pictures of this hotel showed it really nice. Yes, I booked a cheap one. It's my fault, and I totally take the blame for it. but it looked nice on the website. I didn't read the reviews. Read the reviews. That's the next thing I have to say. Read the reviews, because in the reviews it said bed bugs and cockroaches. Gross. So I had booked a room with a queen size bed, and in that picture of a queen size bedroom, there was also a sofa. I'm like, oh, cool. My son can stay with us. Our son can stay with us. He can sleep on the sofa. Then we can, his friend can come, because his friend was flying in to drive home with him. And there was no sofa. There was no room for a sofa in this room. So they weren't staying with us, and he wasn't staying with us because he was grossed out. I'm like, you know what? This building smells funky. This room smells disgusting. Yes, it was air conditioned, and that part made it not as bad, but the bugs, I didn't want to get eaten alive. I didn't want to wake up having an asthma attack. I was done. I'm like, I'm out of here. Take me to my son's house. I called to get a refund, and they said that they were not going to refund me since it was already paid for. I'm like, I am not staying there. I will not stay there. It's gross, it's dirty, and no thank you. So because I booked it through Priceline, the hotel said they wouldn't refund me. Priceline said they couldn't refund me. They gave me a 15% off of my next visit. I'm like, 15% off really isn't that much unless I'm booking ritzy. And I don't ever book ritzy. So I just wanted my money back since I wasn't even going to stay there. It was only a week, but still I wanted my money back. Needless to say, I didn't get my money back. We drove to my son's house and spent the night there. The next morning, we drove to the airport to get our car. I'm so over it. By this point in time, I was just fit to be tied. We left the house a little bit late. We were supposed to be there by 10 o'clock. We rolled in at 10:05. I was a little testy. Walked up to the counter, and the guy said driver's license and a credit card. So I handed him a driver's license and my Discover debit card. Because this debit card, our machines won't take it. I said, what do you mean? He said, we don't accept debit cards. You have to have a credit card. I'm like, and how much money do I have to have on a credit card? And they're like, oh, $150. I'm like, okay. That would have been information that should have been stated in the information of me booking this car, because all the cars were the same price. It didn't matter who I booked it through. It just mattered, they're all the same price. I just, whatever, pick a car for me. I don't care who I book through. Well, I care now because different places require different amounts. That place requires $150. The next place, it's up to $500. I'm like, in Orlando, I might have to pay a $500 deposit, which means we have no spending money the whole time we're in Orlando or my aunt's house in Fort Pierce. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I get it, but it's ridiculous. Okay. So I said, I'm going to have to go transfer money and figure out how I can put cash on a credit card and get it to hit the same day. And I guess if it was a bank that has, anyways, so I have two. I have a Discover debit card or a Discover credit card, and I have a Citibank credit card, which is through Best Buy. So I called Discover and I said, I have a Discover bank account. Can I take my bank account funds and transfer them into Discover credit card and have it hit same day? And they said, no, it takes 24 to 48 hours. I'm like, is it 24 or is it 48 hours? And they're like, well, we don't know. I was losing it. I was really losing it. I said, okay, thank you for nothing. I'll try something else. And I hung up. So I called my Best Buy Citibank card. And they said, if you take cash into a Best Buy store, it's an instant credit onto your account. I'm like, dude, I got this. I'm like, okay, honey, find me a Best Buy. So I got the money out of the ATM, cost me $3. Went to, because Discover debit cards are an online debit card. You have to go to whatever ATM will take it, and then they always charge you fees. So again, me complicating things. So then we drove to a Best Buy and I put $200 on this bank card, the credit card, so that we could go back and rent the car. By now it's noon. Honestly, it's noon. We got there at 10, it's noon. I say, okay, I'm ready, let's do this. And they said, well, it's going to cost you an extra $90 because you're renting the car on a Wednesday, and it costs more to rent a car on Wednesday. I said, no. I already paid for this car. I paid for it from Tuesday through Tuesday. It shouldn't matter what day I pick it up. I paid for it for the whole week. And they said, well, because you're picking up on Wednesday, the fees are a different amount. I said, so you're going to credit me for yesterday? Oh, no, we're not going to credit you for yesterday. We're just going to charge you another $90. I said, what? Are you kidding me? There's no way. They said, well, we'll take that $90 out of your deposit at the end. I was like, are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. This is just, I rented a car. I rented a car. I paid for the car. That car should be sitting there for the whole week, not moving. But that's not how they work. If you don't pick it up within 24 hours, they keep your money and then they rent the car to somebody else, which is totally wrong. So, and then I had to pay extra money because I was a day late. So I had to pay like a penalty on top of, anyways, it was ridiculous. I said, I need the car. I'm just, whatever. Take my money. I won't be back. I will not be back. Finally, we exited the airport and we were done. I was done. I wanted to go home and just be like, leave me alone. It was so much. But what did I learn out of that experience? Pay attention to when your rental car pickup is. Read the reviews on the hotels. And find out ahead of time what the deposits are or what companies charge outrageous deposits. It's just, oh my gosh. It's a lot. It really is a lot. We got an upgraded car, which ended up being a good thing because my grandbabies and my daughter-in-law fit in the back a lot better. But are you kidding me? It was a lot. It was a lot. And I just wanted to be on vacation and have fun and hang out with my kids. And it was a lot. But we made it. It got done. Yeah.